Oh, no auto thing. Sorry. Here we go. Try that again. Hold on. Wait, one more thing. All right. So smooth. There we go. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Monday Night Live. I'm Steve Leahy. How is everyone doing? Really well? It's been a crazy day, crazy week. Um, we ended really crazy. I want to first apologize to everyone who showed up on Wednesday night on New Year's Eve. Um, I was going to be here for my own premiere. I actually sort of was kind of here. I was working on editing a video, the time lapse for this week, and I'm literally sitting on my computer with YouTube open, and I missed my own premiere. About 8:45, I looked up at the clock, and I'm like, "Oh crap!" So, and for anyone who missed it or who was there and I missed it, I am sorry about that. But I ended up doing a live stream on New Year's Day, so hopefully I made up for it a little bit. But yeah, that's what I got for that. Crazy, crazy. So anyway, I also, speaking of crazy, I want to throw out a huge thank you last week to both Bobby Silva and Gary Shees. Last week we had 4 people on the list. Chris won the giveaway. I ended up giving Real One a painting because he was on the list also. Gary Shees ended up buying Rob Sire a 543 because he did not win. And Bobby Silva had won earlier in the year and wanted to give one away. I was going to do another drawing, but I didn't last week. So what I did was Bobby Silva, actually, his win went to Luke Thornton. So all 4 people on the list last week won a painting, and it's mostly due to the awesomeness of you guys, Gary and Bobby especially. So jumping on, I want to say a huge thank you to the star givers for last week, which is Brian Moore Honey and Robert from Canada. Thank you so much, you guys. That's amazing. All right, so it's a new year. I got a few paintings to show you. You guys have seen most of them because I screwed up all over the place, but we'll take a look. What we got? Let's do this one. And I'll say hi, everyone. You guys are awesome. Look at, I can't even keep up with this. Mike Stevenson, good evening, sir. Hello, Patty. Mark. I know, you waited all year for this. Yikes. Kyle Shees, what's happening? Auntie Paul, Happy New Year. Dan Mayer, hello. Customs, what's up? Welcome. Yeah. Real One, there's Real One. Swamp's here. Hey, Swamp. Dan Mayer, I think I said hi to Dan. Rick Lotta, hello. Yay. Look at you guys. Cheese Grits. What's up, man? Ian Hart, good evening, sir. What's going on, Ian? Oh, man. Rhea, hello. Happy New Year. And Todd, Happy New Year to you, too. Mr. Robert O'Malley, hello, sir. I think I got everyone. Greg Stasso, what's up, Greg? All right. So cool. So I'll say hi to as people are jumping in. But yeah, New Year, we're rocking. I got 3 paintings. You guys, well, if you remember, you've already seen 2 of them, actually, because I did one here for you live. So this one was Greg's. Greg Stasso asked last week for a 57 Porsche Speedster. So that is the 356, which is this car right here. I'll get this focused. Now, if you want to see me paint this live, this wasn't the time-lapse video. This is the one I actually did on New Year's Day for everyone because I felt super bad that I blew off my own premiere. And so we did this one live. So you can go back and watch on the live streams and you can watch me paint this. It's not time-lapse. We did it just live. So that's fun. The 356 is just an amazing car. It was introduced in 1948 and it was created by Ferdinand or Ferry Porsche. The 356 shares a lot of its automobile DNA with the Volkswagen Beetle. And the 356 was produced right up until 1965, and it was succeeded by the iconic 911. So this is a great car. This is the A version of it. There was an A, B, C, and D, and they all had a little bit different stuff going on with it. But that's my Porsche Speedster. So again, if you want to check that one out and you want to see us paint that one live, you can just check on the live streams, and it's the last live stream before tonight. So that's it. And that one's just called Speedster. All right, so you guys know the drill. If you win tonight, I'm just checking, my feed is weird. If you win tonight, you can choose one of these 3, or you can go on the website and pick one of your very own. That's how that works. And we have everyone back on the list tonight, which is fun. All right, Todd's here because I said hello to him and all that fun stuff. Lee Jordan, what's up, Lee? Oh, Gary, thank you so much. Yeah, Gary's generosity was amazing last week. That was great. And Bobby, love you guys. Todd last week asked for a sop with camel. I think I've done a sop with camel, but I wasn't sure. But I want to do this one. So this one is the only one you haven't seen yet. And this little guy right here looks like this, and he's banking hard over the French countryside. The Sopwith Camel, the iconic British biplane, was developed in 1917 by Sopwith Aviation Company. The biplane was introduced into the Western Front of World War I. The Camel was the replacement of the Sopwith Pup that was getting absolutely chewed up by the Germans. The Germans had their Albatross that was basically owning the skies, so the British response was the Camel. The Camel was produced for 3 years, and they made about 5,500 of them. And yeah, this plane was made of wood and had cloth skin, so as most planes of the time. So there you go. So that's my Sopwith Camel, and that one's just called Sopwith. So there you go. That's that one. And last but not least is the time lapse for this week, which I also posted. So if you're a member, you've already seen this one. And this one comes to us from 2 people, actually. Oh, I didn't write them both down. Well, Tara Salazar last week asked for this, and someone else asked for this too. And they asked specifically for Laugh Now, Smile Later. Now, I didn't know what that was. So until I looked it up, and I'm like, oh, it's the theater masks, the comedy and tragedy masks. What I didn't realize was during the 70s, the tattoo artist, Freddie Negretti, basically created a piece of flash art with the 2 masks, and it became absolutely iconic in the tattoo kind of realm. The image comes from the classic comedy and tragedy theater masks, and Negretti also used the image to portray kind of the life, a life with joy, and also kind of deferring that sadness. So hence the smile now and cry later. So there you go. Yay, you're all back. Michael McClung, hello, Michael. I just saw you there. So there you go. So that's our 3 for tonight. Oh, sorry, there's a close-up of that one. And that's nice and chromy. Growing up, my best friend in elementary school, we kind of adopted these masks. And I was the comedy one, and he was the tragedy one. So it reminded me of him while I was working on it. All right, so there you go. So there's your 3. Now, tonight, everyone's back on the list. So that list is, let me just get rid of these. Yeah, so the list is back to what it was. So this is what the list normally looks like, except at the end of the year. So there are 30 people on this list right now. So anyone who made a suggestion last week is on the list because the list is reset and everyone gets a shot. So there we go. All right, so some lucky winner's going to be there. 30 of you. So get rid of these, and we'll get painting. I think next week I'm going to work on the dollar bill painting again. I was really enjoying working on that, especially with you guys. So I think mentally and emotionally, it's going to be good if I do a lot of that live. So with you guys, because you guys mean a lot to me. And so I think that's what I'm going to do. Tonight's cheers is from Fathead Brewery I think they're in Cleveland. They're right outside of Cleveland. But I think Middleburg Heights. So it's Conezilla, and it's their IPA, which is fun. So we're going to do that. Follow Createx Wicked Paint. Adam, that's an awesome suggestion. And hello, Adam. Pick me. Customs. So so what you do in Customs is you type in 543 like Adam just did with the bottle of Createx Wicked and make a suggestion. And then you'll get on the list to win one next week. So you don't have to be here if you got plans and you can't make it, and I draw your name, you still win. But yeah, you have to be live like you are now to make the suggestion, but you don't have to be here to win. What else we got? That's all I got. Let's start painting. So I got wrecking the place. Let me do this. It's not really working for me. There we go. Who else I miss? Ron. Hello, Ron. All right. And Chuck Soup. What's up, Chuck? So for Christmas, I got this really cool little, well, I'll show him to you. This little guy right here. And we're going to zoom in on him as we do this. But this is a little gaming miniature. This one's from Pathfinder Battles. There it is right there. And it's a little skeleton knight on a horse. And so I got this for Christmas, and I'm like, oh man, this would be fun to paint with everyone. So that's what I figured we'd do tonight. Or we'll start it anyway. I want to work on the base first, and then I'm pretty sure I'm going to paint it sort of kind of like this. He's got gold and black and stuff like that, but I don't know yet. Well, I haven't really figured all that out yet. But that's what we got. So I thought that'd be fun. I obviously don't usually paint these things. But this is absolutely freaking enormous. Like, there are so many people that do paint these things, and there's gigantic YouTube channels with people who paint them, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So, so I'm going to do things probably not the way they are normally done in the realm of miniature painters. But it's funny because whenever I put in miniature painting, like meaning small painting, like I do, I don't get any of that. I get this. I get all these little miniature gaming things, which is fun. So it's gonna be good to do it. Deidre, what's up? Yeah, Rick Lotta. Did I say hello, Rick? Hello, Rick. Michael, I missed your feed. I saw that you were on, but I wasn't near a computer. But the bear, what is that? A tumbler? That's pretty awesome. So. Your black bear. Black bear. Wait, oh. Is Customs JC? Because I just went through that whole thing. Did I miss that? All right. Yeah, if that's JC, I explained all that and you know all that. So, sorry about that. All right, so a little bit of 3M tape here. Nice and sticky. Good stuff. And we're just going to kind of drop him on here. This stand I made, and I use this for, all the other stuff. And then I have, I'll show you here. I have this cool little, I think I showed you guys this. It's just a little accessory stand that I bought off of Amazon for photography type stuff. These are really articulated little ball joint type clamp. And I love it. So I bought it for a camera, but I ended up not using it for a camera. So now I just use it for this. So there's a clamp on the bottom that clamps onto the bottom of the Visionaire. If this is the bottom of the Visionaire, it just clamps on like that. And then the other side is fully articulated also, so I can move it all around and do all kinds of stuff. And I just made this. This is just a piece of board with some aluminum on it, and I screwed it to a piece of wood. So yeah, making stuff MacGyver method. So now it's really cool. So again, if I loosen this, it's fully articulated. I can move it around and do whatever I want with it, then tighten this up, and then it's locked in place, which is really, really cool. All right. Now I got to get this over here so you guys can see what I'm doing. I think, like I said, I think we're going to work on we're going to prime it. It says it's already primed, but I don't trust the primer. I never do. So we're going to do a little bit of priming on it, and then I'm going to do the base. I have an idea for the base, which will be fun. Make sure we got that focused. Yeah, so it's like this little gravelly trail and then these rocks on the side. So I was thinking about having kind of like lava, rocks and lava-ish kind of thing. Chris, what's happening? Yeah, we're going to do miniature today. All right. So we've got this like pole here that kind of holds everything, holds them from falling over. Because it's fairly rigid. And I know I'm going to blow a lot of this because I don't know how they make these, what material, what kind of, plastic or resin that they are. But the sword in the back is thin, and it's also fairly flexible, so it's not really rigid. The horse itself is pretty rigid, and the base is certainly rigid. But I don't know, again, I don't know what they used for primer on this. It's wonderfully detailed though, like, as a scale modeler enthusiast ever since I was a kid, I think about the level of detail that they used to get out of injection molding and injection molds for models, and this is so crazy, so much better than what they used to be. It's great. Astral, what's up? I saw someone say hi to Astral. I didn't see him jump in, but hello, Astral. Tara, what's up? Yay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by, well, actually, I got to start by masking off that little pole, because I don't want that to get any paint on it. It's kind of clear, it's kind of milky, it's designed to not be really visible. I was thinking about cutting it out because I think these are used for gaming actually, and I'm not going to use it for that. Once it's done, I'm just going to kind of display it. So I was thinking maybe I could get away with cutting that out. However, I'm not sure, and if I cut it out and ruin it, then that's not going to be a good thing. So I decided, what I'll do is I'll just kind of mask it off as if I'm keeping it. And then, if it looks like I can take it out later, then that's what I'll do. So I just put a little bit of, this tape is also made by 3M. This is essentially like the FBS masking. It's really thin paper-like tape. I should have been smart and got you all the numbers on all this, but maybe I can. Is there a tag on this? Yeah, there is. This is 183 masking from 3M, and this is from Japan too, so it's nice having friends in the business, So I don't know if you can get this in the US, but if you can, it works really well. If not, FBS does a great job at it too. Like washi tape for Smurfs, exactly. All right, so for priming this, I know the bulk of this is going to be black anyway, so I'm just going to use the sealer black. I have a little bit of this left. Like I said, the detail on this is amazing, so I don't want to fill in any of those little fine details, and the sealer can do that. It's got a pretty decent covering ability with the sealer black. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of sealer. Maybe. Let me try it. I'm going to try it on the base first. So I was going to thin it out just because. But we'll see how it sprays just basically out of the bottle and see what we can do with it. Again, I'm going to kind of do the whole thing, so I'm not worried about the horse and on the ground. And even if I was doing the ground more traditionally, like, with dirt and, whatever, like gray rocks, I'd still paint it all black. So what I'm doing is I'm just putting on a really light coat to just kind of see how it covers and, like what it does to the details. And so far so good. It's not really, it doesn't seem like it's building up on the details very much. So I think I'll run it this way. Obviously this stuff works the best out of the bottle, with a little bit of reducer. You don't want to over reduce this stuff at all. Any primer really, because it's designed to stick. It's designed to hold on and seal that thing up. So you want to give it its best ability to do that. And the way you do that is you don't over reduce it. If you over reduce it, it just becomes, weak and it won't do its job. Yeah, I feel confident with this. I'm going to kind of do the rest of the miniature here. Actually, I'll back it up a little bit since I was just going to work on the base, but now that I know that this is going to work the way it should work, I'm just going to do the whole thing. So I'll back you guys up a little bit so you can see what's going on. This is when it really, really pays off to have a really, like this, the macro lens on this camera is amazing. Like if we were to get into it, this camera can get like almost microscopic, which is great. Yeah, it is a little bit chunky. Like it can feel it clogs up, but still not bad enough that I'm not gonna, kind of keep rolling with this. Because again, the sealer is just so good. It's so good at what it does. So we're gonna We're going to let it do its thing. Now the rocks and stuff with the lava, I think it was Michael or Brian that I was talking to about that. Look at you guys go with all your 543s. Drew Blair painting, Gerald Mendez painting a dragon. Adam, that's awesome. I might do that. That's great. Yeah, you guys rock. Yeah, so again, yeah, it says it's primed already. This does seem to be holding up pretty well. You know, as far as the way the paint is kind of sticking. If it's unprimed and it's plastic or resin, the paint will generally have a non-primer type paint will generally want to skim across it, just like skate across it. It'd be difficult to get it to hold on. But the paint is really adhering very well to this. So yeah, so kudos to their primer, whatever they use. But again, I'm not going to take a chance if I don't have to. You know, if I can take a minute and re-prime it and then have it just the way I want it, then that's good for me. Again, super light coats. You know, I don't want to hose this thing down, and I want to try to hit it from as many angles as I can because of all the little details. This already looks really cool, black. Yes, the other thing too, I saw with cheese grits here. I'm going to start working on his lock shortly. I'm just kind of finishing up the sketch idea for that, and then I'll definitely be doing a couple of, at least one or two feeds painting his lock. I have a real fun steampunk idea for it, and then he's going to be giving that away. So you want to follow Cheese Grits and NyQuil and all the other lock pickers that are here actually too that have channels, and all the airbrushes. That'd be a blast. But yeah, Cheese is going to give the lock away, and even if you don't lock pick, it's going to be a fun painting. So you'll have a giant hunk of brass with a painting on it if you win. So I'll keep you up on that as we get rolling. So the other fun thing was yesterday was the opening for the Area Artist Show at the Butler Institute in Youngstown, and I have a painting in that show, so that was a lot of fun. If you're into automotive pinstriping and airbrushing and stuff, you will know the name Steve Chizeka, or Wizard. Steve had two pieces in the show, so I got to hang out with him for a little while, which was a lot of fun, and got to see a bunch of other people. Adam Pratt was there, another pinstriper, and Guy Shively, another pinstriper, was there too. Guy had a piece in the show. It was just a lot of fun, and the show was fantastic. It's the way they do it is they changed it up a little bit. If you live within 75 miles of the Butler, you can enter that show, and so it's a local area type show, but it doesn't feel like that. The work was insane. Like, the work was like international level. It really was. There's some unbelievable pieces in it. So that is up until I think mid-February. So if you are in the Northeast Ohio area, you can check that show out. I have a painting. The painting of that old Ford is in there for me. So that's the first time that painting's been displayed too publicly. I finished it, and that's where it went. All right, so there we go. So that's looking really good. I'm happy with that already. So let's start thinking about the base here. Oh no, I don't really have to. Let me move this again. We're gonna do a lot of this where the camera's moving around, because we're gonna be working on the base a little bit. So what I want is this, like I said, this came up with, I think it was I think Brian Moore was talking about it, and I think maybe we're talking about it with Michael too. But on the spray, the airbrush holder from Spray Gunner, which also is going to be a thing as soon as I get it back from the photographer and we get that down to Spray Gunner. They're going to give that away as well, or they're going to do something with it. I think they're going to give it away or have some sort of contest with it. But anyway, the base, I ended up doing mine in gold leaf, but we talked about doing the base like lava, like with lava between the rocks. So I think I'm going to do that with this one. And then maybe lava on this section right here, the little grainy section. Oh my God, you guys talking about Wednesday? You mean the Butler isn't the 4-H tractor striping jamboree? No, that's the Canfield Fair. Mike's Brush. I have a Mike's Brush project coming up too. So Mike does a lot of really cool 3D airbrush accessories, 3D printed airbrush accessories, and he sent me a bunch of them. So I think I'm going to paint one of those for you guys too. And I'm going to do it so that if you're not aware of who Mike's Brush is, which you all are, I'm going to get you to subscribe to his channel too. He's great. All right, so let's do this. So what I'm going to do, yeah, I think I'm going to make this part like lava. We'll kind of get this guy looking like he's, depths of hell type of stuff. And then what I'm thinking about doing is the cracks between these rocks to have those look like they're molten lava as well. So these lava kind of rocks are on this, kind of pushed together and making a little islands that this guy can kind of skip across. So I've got the primer on here, which is black, and that's great because that's going to be kind of the vibe of the stone. But I do want to make these look like stone too. So the lava, even though it's between the rocks, I think I'm going to do that last. So we'll work on the rocks first. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to start building up some rock-like texture on this, some little dots and stuff. So I'm going to grab the micron here, and I'm going to mix up a gray. So I'm going to take some opaque white. Now, can I do this so you guys can see it? Yeah, probably. So I'm going to mix up some white and some black and make a kind of a medium gray. Now, everything I'm doing here, I could get onto the horse and it's going to have to be covered, but I'm going to be painting the horse anyway. So I don't really have to mask off the horse or anything like that. I mean, I could, mask off like his legs and like I did the pole, but it's not really worth it. All right, so that's that, but you guys can't see it because it's too dark, So we're going to, add a bunch more white to this. Now this stone technique is the same thing I do for asphalt or, it's just using the airbrush to kind of stipple with. So that looks good. That's pretty dark, but you'll see what it does in a second. Oh, I almost did a bad thing. I don't have my painty pants on. I have my regular regular pants on, and I was just going to wipe my paintbrush on my pants. All right. Yeah, Mike. This I got this. Like I told everyone, I got this for Christmas, and it's so much fun. If you missed Mike's last live stream, he 3D printed a Spawn head. The comic book hero Spawn. It is amazing, and he used a lot of candies, and just really cool. All right, so what I'm doing is I have the little Grex valve here on the airbrush, the bottom, and I'm just going to turn the air pressure down really low. Now you could do this with your compressor. You just turn down the compressor, and what it does is I'll do it over here. When you have the pressure really low, it just spits out the paint in little dots. See that? And when you do it this way, you can get really great control over the size of the dots and where they go as well, which is the most important thing. Can you see that kind of going on there? So it's really, really fun. And again, there are multiple ways to do this. In fact, speaking of Mike's brush, Mike has a larger piece that clips onto the front of an airbrush that comes out at an angle in the front. And that does the same kind of thing, but on a bigger scale. So when you have something like this, the paint blows out of the airbrush at full pressure, it ends up pooling up on the little piece that's here and then spits off the end. So it's pretty cool. It's an old t-shirt painter's trick. They used to use popsicle sticks to do it. But Mike has made some cool 3D printed stuff. All right, so I'm going to turn this, and I want to make sure you guys are focused so you can really see what's going on there. This, like I said, this gray is pretty close to that black, so you're not going to see too much of it. But again, the whole point is we want to make it look real. You know, this is a really fun technique to do, and it's really easy to overdo something like this because it's fun. You know, it's like painting stars or something. You know, it's like, oh, I love doing this, I'm going to do it everywhere, and you do too much of it, and then it just looks like garbage. So the idea is subtlety. And Lord knows. You know what I'll do? I'm going to change the angle of things a little bit because I'm going to give you guys more light by moving the camera around a little bit and getting you guys in much closer so that way you guys can really kind of see what's going on. Once I get to the lightest, like the whites and stuff, you'll see it a little bit better, but this will give you a better idea what's going on here. Grouch, what's up? Yeah, 3D printing. See, I refuse to buy a 3D printer because I think, you know, it's a lot of those same reasons why I am hesitant to get into any kind of, you know, digital art. I just got the new tablet and I have Procreate now, but I think if I get into stuff like that, it's gonna lead me down a rabbit hole where there's, you know, no salvation for me. I'll be like lost because I would be printing everything. So I leave it up to Mike and other, you know, 3D printers, and I'm happy. All right, so that's first round. I know it's hard to see, so I'll do this in white so you can see it. This is usually the last step, but I'll put a few of these on here just so you can kind of see what's going on. And actually, yeah, I can use the white to kind of start the lava as well. All right, same deal. There's white in here now, just plain old white. There it is down there at the bottom. You just barely see it because it's out of focus, but you turn the pressure down again. There we go. All right, so now you should be able to see this much better now. So it just adds those little dots on there. And now if you lower the pressure, you get bigger dots. If you raise the pressure, you get finer dots. That's what's so nice about it, doing this with air pressure. You have a lot of control over what's going on here. Make sure we got you guys focused on these rocks in the back. These rocks right here. So same deal. Just like, oh, let me turn up the pressure a little bit. So I want, again, higher pressure will give me smaller dots. So the first round, those were kind of big. So these ones are a little bit smaller. And again, I have really good, you know, control over this too. Like if I get really close, it'll only put them in like a 1 centimeter area, you know, really, or a millimeter area really. So you can do some cool stuff. You can get some pretty tight grain work done on this. And then this is slightly out of focus in the front, but I'm just doing the same thing up here. Yeah, that's nice. Let that dry. So that gives you that stone look, you know, which is fun. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to grab a little bit of black and I'm going to kind of highlight those or emphasize the roundness of those stones. Now, if this was a bigger painting or if you wanted to go nuts, you could do different colors, you know, and different values of gray and just keep layering these little dots over one another. And it's just going to be more and more interesting and realistic. So, and the other nice thing is too, you can't screw it up. If you do something wrong, you just primer over the whole thing and start all over again too. So that's the fun part. You guys are going. Wayne's here. Hello, Wayne. I know Wayne now. That was fun when they switched names and I didn't know who Wayne was. All right, so now I'm going to take just reduced opaque black and I'm going to kind of start shading between before I do the little lava veins here. I was going to do the big area of lava, but this will work. Oh, I still got white in the other brush, so I'm good. All right, so this is straight opaque black, so I'm just going to kind of paint really lightly between the rocks here and build that up a little bit so it adds a little bit of like shadow between the rocks. Again, I can't stress it enough with this stuff and just with all the painting too. It's all about being subtle, you know. You whatever you do, you try not to just drive it into the ground. I see that a lot with scale modeling, and I'm sure, like I said, I'm not too up on a lot of the miniature painters. You know, I know some of the big ones, but even with the regular scale modelers, you know, I like watching people put together and paint like airplane, like aviation scale models. But it's funny because, you know, with armor and military planes, and people tend to have a heavy hand. Like, you know, when they're doing oil streaks or something, it's like, yeah, put oil streaks on, and then it's like the thing is like bleeding oil. Like there's oil streaks everywhere, you know, because again, it's not it's if you're not subtle, it just overpowers everything, you know? Like weathering too, weathering in general with scale modeling. It so many times it just feels so overdone because people get too excited about it, you know? All right, I don't like those little dots right there because, you know, didn't really happen the way I wanted it to. You know, it's kind of spit out there, but it's easy enough to kind of like, you know, kind of go over those mistakes too. Like I said, it's hard to screw this up. And when you do screw it up, like I said, you just redo it, you know? Now again, I didn't mention it, but you guys know all the paint I'm using is the same stuff. It's the Createx Wicked colors that I use for everything. Now, the Wicked colors work really well for things like this because they stick really well and they're very durable. So if you do any kind of reductive type work on these, like if you want to scratch out stuff, which is totally cool, you can do it with the Wicked, but it's a little bit harder to do than with, say, the illustration colors. Now, I can't speak on any of the miniature model paints. I know there are a lot of companies that make them. Likewise for scale modeling paint. I don't know who makes them. I don't, you know, if the actual company makes them or if they're made by another, you know, paint company or what. But again, this stuff works really, really well for me, so I just use it for everything. Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, lovely. Again, I want these to look like igneous rocks, like lava rocks. Am I missing anything? Pigment powders are fun. Yeah, exactly. That's funny you say that, Rhea, because like watching the scale modelers and when they take the dry powder and then, you know, apply that over like with a dry brush, which I'm going to do some of that on this hopefully. Oh, just so cool. Just so cool. There are a ton of techniques, and this is what we were talking about before with on Open Studio with style and stuff like that. Like, how do you come up with a new style or new techniques or whatever? If you watch like someone who does something totally different, like I'm sure a miniature figure painter who watched my stuff would pick up stuff because I'm painting in a totally different way than what they're doing, but they can apply what I do onto what they're doing. And the converse is true for me. Like I watch some of these painters do these techniques and I'm like, oh, I am totally stealing that. I can use that in a flat painting, like one of my paintings. So that's where the new stuff comes from, really. All right, so for the lava, let's start doing that. And I'm going to try to be good because I didn't see honey, and I want to make sure that I don't run over like I did last time. So I'm going to keep an eye on the clock because we have a giveaway to do, right? Because it's a new year. It's a new me. It's a new you. It's a new year. Let me turn on palette cam. Give that a second to fire up. There we go. Ooh, it's totally in the wrong spot. There we go. There's also an airbrush hose in the way. That's okay. All right, so for this, for the little seams between the rocks, I'm going to do that with a paintbrush to start. But I want them to kind of glow too. So maybe I'll do them with the airbrush. Or maybe I'll do it with a paintbrush and an airbrush. I don't know. Let's figure it out. But in any event, what I am going to use is sealer white. Now I could use the opaque white, but the sealer white should be a little bit more opaque. I'm thinking. Maybe. Maybe not. How's that look? Well, we'll try it. Let's try it. And what could go wrong? You can't see it, but I've got a jumbo bottle of sealer white here, so I'm just going to put some of the sealer right here. I don't have a small bottle of this. I just have a quart bottle. So I can't pour it, you know. Well, I'll show you. I'll move it in front of the palette cam. So that's the sealer white bottle. So if I try to pour a drop out onto the palette, I'm going to make a mess. So I'm not going to do that. So I put a little bit out there. That's good. Now let's see what this paint's like. Ooh, it really feels good so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint between the cracks of the rocks here. Let's turn this a little bit so you guys could see more of the rocks that I'll be working on. These rocks right here, right here. Here we go. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Lee Jordan, hello Lee again. Who else we got? Chris Garcia, cheers Chris. All right. But I also want these to kind of glow. Now, same thing here. Like, you got a lot of rocks there, right? Move this over a little bit because it's in the palette cam. It's in the way now. This lava effect, I could put it between every single rock and it look like trash. You know, it's like, it's going to be fun for me to do, but, you know, I don't want to do it everywhere. I want to just like make it, you know, kind of pop in and out. So I'm going to pick like this big indentation right here, and then I'm going to kind of pull it out, but then trail it off like that. I've got a little bit up on the rock too, which I don't want, but I'll take care of that in a second. So like that, a little bit there, and maybe down onto here too, a little bit. Like that. Yeah, that's good. So again, not everywhere, just in certain spots. Like maybe it picks up again here. Maybe these two rocks are like touching one another really close and the lava can't really get through. So same thing in this one, I'll just kind of bring it out to there and trail it off. These look like these two rocks are stacked on top of one another, so I won't do that, but I'll do a little bit here. Like that. Where else? Yeah, mostly in where the rocks all come together, like out here. Yeah. And then maybe here, because this crunchy area over here will be all lava. So bring another one over here. And again, you know, I mean, I'm trying to get it right where it should be, but it doesn't have to be perfect, because I'm going to clean it up in a second. That's good. Is that enough? Yeah, because all that's lava. So this is going to be all the stuff. Can you see it? Yeah. Behind the horse here, all this stuff is going to be just lava, just straight up like in your face, like molten rock. So I'll start by putting a little bit of edging on this so I don't have to airbrush up to the stones that aren't going to have lava on them. Yeah, maybe I'll, yeah. I'll do the whole thing. I'm going to spin it around so we can do the other side here. There we go. So then I also found this really cool little gaming shop in a nearby town, Columbiana. And they've got a bunch of these. And it's funny too, because when I was in there last time, I was like, oh, that looks like it'd be fun to paint. And then lo and behold, without saying anything to anyone, I got this little guy for Christmas, which was fun. So, you know, I could see myself just running over and grabbing a bunch of stuff. They had some really great dragons and, you know, different kind of things that were all like this fantasy type, D&D. Oh, that wasn't where I wanted that at all. So yeah, so it's going to be fun. So there's a little bit of lava there too. Not out here though. I'm not going to put it on this edge. Well, you can't see it. I'm not going to put it like any out of here on this edge, even though that looks like it's the same lava. I'll leave that alone. Just to kind of give it, again, because too much of it is going to be too much. So what's he standing on? Is he standing right on the lava? Do we want to do that? Yeah, we do. He's going to be standing right on the lava here. And again, this is all just primer, really. You know, this is just kind of setting the stage. So this, you know, if I do start doing more of this stuff, I'm going to, you know, buy other brushes. Like I'm using my little Winsor Newton brush here. And it's this brush, you know, of all the things I do to these brushes, this is one thing I don't want to do to them. You know, working on 3D or, you know, any kind of textured thing is rough on a brush. So, you know, I think finding a good quality, lesser expensive brush for this kind of stuff is the way to go. For doing details and stuff, that's different. You know, this brush is going to really do well at that. You know, for like really minute details, just like, you know, I use it on all the paintings. But for this type of stuff, especially like right here, where, you know, you have all this textured rock and stuff, you don't want to be doing this to a good brush. All right, but what could go wrong? There we go. All right, so that's good. All right, so now, again, I want this to kind of look like lava, so I want this to kind of glow a little bit. So I'm going to use a little bit of airbrushing on this to kind of pull those out. Zeppelin Swan Song is a good one. Paradise Rolling Snake Eyes is excellent. Mini paintings, hot on brushes. Yeah, there you go. Grouchy Nose. Logo would look super sick, black and neon orange. Yeah, I love it. Metal resonator guitar. I've never done one of those. That's good. Steve, have you been masking putty? Astral, no, I have not. I've used the liquid mask, but I've never used the putty. That's really cool. See, that's all the other stuff too. When I got back into scale modeling, and I talk about this a little bit on when I did a few of those Model Monday videos, I was out of it for years and years. I used to do tons of scale models when I was a kid, and you know, I'm a kid, I have a paper route, I don't have any money, and you know, I could barely afford the glue to put them together, and you know, I could never paint them or whatever. But anyway, so now I get back into it, and it's like photo etched stuff and aftermarket, all this stuff. There's a zillion tools. I went nuts. I had so much fun buying like tools, scale modeling tools, little saws and plastic. It was just so much fun. So I'm not as up on a lot of the stuff as I should be, or thought I would be. All right, so the same thing here. I'm going to clean up a lot of this stuff now. So I'm just going to use the same thing. I'm going to use sealer black instead of regular black. And I'm just going to put some of that out on the palette. You don't really need, I won't turn the palette cam on because you don't really necessarily need to see me go into the palette to pull the black off. But it is there. All right, so I'm going to get black here. So for like this thing here that was a mistake, I'm just going to kind of get rid of it. Keep in mind though, I did all that little, you know, little stippling stuff. So I don't want to just paint it black. I just want to kind of scumble it in a little bit. Same thing up here. This kind of lava got onto the rock a little bit, unfortunately, and same thing here. Now again, I suppose I could leave it too. It looks like little splashes, but we're gonna try to keep it as clean as possible. Happy accidents are great, but I don't want to deal with that right now. Like here, the brush kicked out a little bit when I was doing this. Plus I want this to kind of trail off a little bit as well. So we'll just cover it. And you know, again, there's a million and one ways to fix this. You know, you could grab, you know, I could use opaque black, or you could try to scratch it off a little bit. You know, if the black is thick enough, that'll work. But this is the quickest way for me. And it's also, you know, one of the great reasons why you end up priming it in the first place, you know? So you can do stuff like this without having to mess with it. All right, that's good. Now, to give it a little bit of a glow. So this is the kind of same technique that I use for all the lightsabers and, you know, same thing when you're doing stars and they're glowing, same kind of thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the white and I'm just going to spray a little bit around it to kind of give it a little bit of a halo. Just like that, okay? And I'm gonna do that pretty much everywhere on all the little areas that I did. And again, you can pick little, you know, hot spots. It doesn't have to be even across the whole thing. In fact, that looks more realistic. It looks like one area is just kind of like glowing a little bit more, especially where there's a lot more paint, like in the corner here. So I just kind of hit that a little bit extra. And then the lava itself, give the stones a little bit of extra there too. So I'm not looking at the clock either. Oh, that's craptastic. That little area there. But I want to get this stuff done before we give the stuff away. Large Marge from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. That's funny, Brian. Hello, Brian. There's a, well, no, actually we'll leave that. So this one right in here is kind of like splashed out. But we'll leave that. We'll see what it looks like. So just again, add that halo around it. Now I'm putting a little bit extra on this and I'll show you why in a second. Or you know what we'll do is we'll finish the white and then we'll do the giveaway and then I'll do the lava. I'll finish the lava up so you can see what it's going to look like. All right, same thing. You see that one? Yeah. So again, you know, a little bit of halo on that. And then around the outside edge of all this lava here. Now this isn't on the lava, the open lava here. You see how it's not a perfectly white coat. I don't mind that because I'll eventually want it to be kind of semi cooled off. You know, like sort of like glowing lava, but you know, starting to dry up, you know, or to harden up. All right, so that's that for that. Let's do the giveaway real quick, and then I'll do the next step on this. All right, first I'm going to clean this airbrush out because I'm going to need it, and I'll be crying if I don't. So we're just going to pull this off. I'll switch to this one for you. So I'll pull this off and put it over here. And then we'll do the giveaway, and then we'll jump right back in. Yay! Pandora's box is awesome. What else we got? You guys are doing... Oh, lava and gold. Yeah, yeah. All right, what do we got here? Let's do this. There we go. That's what I want. I want this, and we got 30. So I'm gonna run over the list with you real quick. I won't read them all because there's, you know, there are 30 of you, but I'll show you the list so you can always freeze it and look at it later. But here is your list somewhere. There we go. All right. La 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 la. All right, and now I've got it down so it's your new YouTube name too. So the spreadsheet is going to be much more accurate this year unless they decide to change everyone else's names. So there we go. There's all you lovely people. So this is everyone that made a suggestion last week is now on the list to win one tonight. I have one important thing that may be coming up. So let me switch to this. Well, yeah. And it's worth noting. I know there are everything in the way, but you get the idea. I went to the post office and shipped one of the paintings to Canada this week, and I'm pretty sure it was the postal person that helped me. But normally I can send them a certain way. so that they're not too expensive. And I always cover the shipping on those because it's a giveaway. You shouldn't have to pay anything for a giveaway. However, this time with an international package, the envelope had to go priority mail, which doesn't usually happen, but this particular postal person said that's the way it is. Shipping an international priority mail package, it was like $43. So if that is the universal case now, I'm going to have to unfortunately relook at how we do giveaways outside of the U.S. I'm pretty sure that was just an oversight on this one postal worker's part, and next time I go in, I'll still be able to. I mean, it's still expensive. It's still about $20 to ship them, but again, that's something that I like doing for you guys. But if it jumps up to priority, that might be too rich for giveaway scenarios. So if you are international, for now, just keep entering. That's awesome. I'm gonna assume that it was a one-off thing. But if like I said, if I find out it isn't, then we'll have to take the next step. But we'll figure it out. All right. Where do I want to go? I want to go to this one now. So no, I don't. That one. There's your 30. All right. Let's see. Yeah. See, there you go, Astral. That's the other thing too. Like mine, I make sure I write because it is a gift. It is something that's that has, it's a gift. So I do put, just $1 value. So hopefully that, people don't get nailed on customs and duties on that too, even if it's free, to them. But yeah, customs and duties is killer. And that's unfortunately the sending country has no control over that. It's the receiving country, So we'll see though. We'll see. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure that, like I said, that wasn't a error on that particular postal worker, which is fine. She's a sweetheart, but I wasn't gonna, pull a Karen on her or anything. All right, so here we go. Your winner tonight is number 26. That's fun having 26. I'm not looking till you guys are here. There we go. 26 is, that's so funny. So here's what happens when you do nice things for people. So Bobby Silva and Gary Shees both, Gary ended up buying a 543 last week, but Bobby Silva gave away his painting that he won last week, and he wins this week. So congratulations, Bobby. So there you go. Bobby, if you want to pick one, you know what to do. Yeah, you're good. So there you go, Bobby. So Bobby's our first winner. So now the bad part for Bobby is, he now can't win one until next year. So sit back, Bobby. You got a long way to go. But there you go, Bobby. If you'd like one of the ones I should show them to you because I'm dumb. Let me show you the three that we have here. This is for people also who missed it in the beginning. Pull my sheet here. So where is it? There we go. We have Laugh Now and Smile Later, Tara Salazar, and I should have wrote down the other person. It is on, when this goes up on the website tonight, I do have both people who suggested this. 2 different people suggested the same thing, which is really cool. So that's Laugh Now and Smile Later. That's the Negretti. That's what I should have done was I should have just did his original 70s flash art, the tattoo. That would have been awesome. But that is his work, so, I mean, I certainly would have obviously told a story and gave him credit like I did, but still. So that one's Laugh Now and Smile Later. The other 2 are, where are they? Come on, man. It's like, here we go. Oh, brother. The time-lapse Tuesday painting for this week is this one, is Laugh Now and Smile Later, or Laugh Now and Cry Later. What am I saying? Todd's Sopwith Camel. So that's the other one for tonight. Is that one. And then this one we painted live last Thursday because I felt bad, was Greg's Porsche. The 356, the Speedster. So there you go. 59, oh, 57, I think. Yeah, we chose, Greg asked for 57, so that's it. The A model, the nice one. They're all nice, but yeah. So there you go. All right, Bobby Silva. You know what to do. All right, and again, you know, if Bobby doesn't choose one of those, all three will go up on the site. They are always 50% off, the ones I do for you guys. But I did leave the commission up there, so if you want one of your own, if you're tired of asking for something and I'm not doing it, you could always just commission me to do whatever you want, which is always fun. Or, you know, like I said, all the 543s that I do for you guys are always 50% off anyway, so there's a ton of them on there. All right, back to our little guy. So we got that orange glow. Now, I mean the airbrush glow on this. Now, what you guys, I mean, you guys have seen a lot of reflection too, so it's tough to see the glow, but trust me, it's there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start toning back that glow. So I put a little bit more than you would normally, because once I hit this with orange and yellow, it's going to kind of start to disappear. So for this, I'm going to use a little bit of Pyrrole Orange, Wicked Pyrrole Orange. And again, this is how I do laser beams or headlights or, you know, any kind of glowing thing with the airbrush. Start with that bright white. What's going on here? My orange is not cooperating. Oh, this is weird. All right, well, I got it. So for this, I want this transparent. So the Pyrrole Orange is actually opaque, so I put a drop in the airbrush, and then I'm just going to take some 40-50 and some reducer that I've already pre-mixed, and I'm just going to add that to the mix. So this is mixed 2 to 1 or 1 to 2, 1 part 40-50 to 2 parts reducer. So that'll loosen it up a little bit, but also give me, still keep that stickability, I guess. Oh, I have to redo this. Bummer. The brush I had was not clean. It had black in it, and then I just put it in here, and it just made it all like mud. Let's do that again. What else have I got? Oh, and incidentally, that round of shipping all went out. There's only the swamp. I have to frame up swamps painting, so that didn't go out. And then I still have. He probably hates me now. There was a winner from last year, Dan Wyborn, and he's in Canada also. And originally when he won, the Canadian Post Office was on strike, so we were talking about it, and we're like, we'll just hold on to it till the post office goes back on strike. And I keep forgetting to send his out because it's not with everything else. I brought it to the post office, and it's been in my car ever since. So I got to get that to him. So Dan, if you're listening, I have not forgot you. I just forgot you. But I will get it out. But everyone else should be on the way now. So if you won one, even last week, I think I got them all out. All right, this is better. So this, I just redid the whole thing while off camera. But it's, again, it's a little bit of orange, a little bit of 40-50, and then a little bit of reducer. So now what I can do is I can basically paint everything that was white, including the fuzzy parts, the glowing parts. So again, I don't know if I need to add a little bit more orange to this, so I'm going to go, again, I'm going to go really, really slow with this to see what it looks like. I want to kind of creep up on this, you know, I don't want to hit it super hard. And the other nice thing is, again, because I've added so much reducer and 40-50 to this, it's pretty much transparent, which is great. It's what we want. Could you use candy on this if someone asks? Rob, what's up? Rob, your painting is on the way. You can give Mr. Gary Shees the biggest thank you you've ever given, because that man stepped up and just bought you a painting. So there you go. Now, it's pretty much the truth, right? I mean, if you guys are here on a regular basis throughout the year, pretty much everyone wins one, right? I mean, we were down to, what, 3 or 4 at the end of the year, and, I know Rob just kind of started jumping on here, so, but all the regulars kind of get one pretty much guaranteed throughout the year, so we're still small enough that that can happen. I mean, I would love it if things are so big that, we have, hundreds of people on the list and I can't possibly give everyone one. That would be lovely too. It means a lot of people are watching. But I like the way it is now, so we're just going to keep doing it. So one quick note, I said I went a little bit harder on the white glow part than I normally would. Like if this was just a white glow, I wouldn't do so much of it. Again, because I want to keep it subtle, right? But because I'm going over this with orange and then again later on with yellow, I went a little bit harder with that glow than I would have because I knew it was going to get toned down by the orange and ultimately the yellow. All right. So again, this is just opaque orange and a little bit of reducer and 40/50. Yeah, that's looking like just what I want it to look like. That's cool. All right, good. I'm not really going to work on the main lava part with you guys tonight because I want to make sure I get the other part done so it looks like something. But essentially the rest of the lava is going to be pretty similar to this, except there'll be some extra brush work while I kind of put in some of the cooler, darker bits, but essentially it's the same. Now the nice thing about this is even though I've got it all reduced and it's kind of a milky orangey color, when it dries, when that 40/50 dries, that disappears and it just becomes brilliant orange again. So that's the hardest part about reducing it and putting in 40/50. You have to trust the process. You look at it and you're like, oh, that looks gross. It looks milky, weird. Like if I show you the bottle of reducer with the 40/50 in it, it's like all milky white color. But when this dries, it's 100% clear. So you gotta, like I said, you gotta trust the process. It freaks you out in the beginning because you're like, there's no way that that's gonna be bright orange. It looks like rust color in the cup. But it does, it really works well. I'll go over the lava one more time here. Again, I'm still feeling like I don't need too much mask for this. There's nothing that I really have to worry about getting stuff on. If something happened, if I had a blowout or something with this, I can always jump back to the black. I'm going to change this a little bit. I can always just go back to the sealer black or erase something, that doesn't look right, So it's wonderfully, reversible, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. You don't have to worry too much about, screwing up. So let me move this a little bit now that I've got that. But even now, see, even without the yellow, it's still starting to look like there's like something going on between those rocks. What else we got? Yeah, Rob's in now for real. There we go. Bug, what is up, brother? What's happening? Welcome. All right. But again, same thing. See how just by putting it in a few spots, it feels like, yeah, there's something going on there. But if I surrounded every single rock with this, it would have been like, blah. It just would have looked unreal, And the other thing too is like I'm actually working on this, obviously, right now. And if something goes totally sideways, I can always, like I said, I can just repaint it and go over it again. So, I can treat this kind of like a practice piece. But if you want to do a technique like this and you're not sure how it's going to come out or you're not sure of the steps, feel free to just like do it on something else, do it on something that you wouldn't mind throwing away at the end, like I've done enough of this like glowy whatever type of technique that I kind of have a feeling that it's going to work out the way I see it in my head. But if I didn't think that, there's no shame in just trying it out on something that you don't care about. Because that's the other thing too, that it always comes out better the second time, no matter what, even if you know what you're doing. So yeah, keep that in mind too. Oh, I missed the one up above. This one, it's kind of out of focus. Well, maybe I can focus it. The rest of it will be out of focus while I do this one up here. That's good. Okay, so I like it. I think it's coming along fine. But again, if like there's a couple spots here that you can't see it, it's right there. It's in the shadow kind of, but it just looks like an odd glow. It doesn't look like it's attached to anything because of it's just overspray. So I still have the black in this brush. So what I can do is I can just really lightly, again, I can just erase it. I can get rid of that extra glow. And if it happened anywhere else, now's a good time to kind of just clean up the edges. Again, if the glow went too far, if there's overspray where I don't want it, I could just kind of like run over it and fix it up. But I feel good about that. That's good. Okay, so now that's great. It looks like it's glowing, but I really want it to look like there's stuff going on there. So again, the farther I go, the less paint I put on, but the bigger the impact. So next I want to put in like these little yellow hot spots where it's really like breaking through kind of thing. So again, I'm going to use the sealer white. Now, it's going to be yellow when I'm done, but if I put the yellow, like if I use yellow paint, it's not going to stand up. It's just going to be too, even though the paint is opaque, it's just going to look like orange. So I'm going to give it something to stand on first. So I'm going to use white. And again, the farther you go, the later in the game, the less paint you want to use with bigger impact, So I'm just going to kind of put a few little white dots in there wherever the paint is the brightest, or where there's the most of it. Again, I don't want to just put in this stuff everywhere because it's going to look like trash. There we go. So a few of those little hot spots. Now again, that looks dumb. It looks like it's too much, but that's where the yellow is going to come into play. So now I'm going to jump to, so same deal here. I've got orange in here. I'm going to clear this out and replace it with yellow and do the same exact thing. I have bismuth yellow here, which is a super bright yellow, opaque. You can't read it, but it's there, bismuth. So I'm going to put a drop of that in here. Yeah, this is like neon yellow. And then again, I'm going to grab a little bit of reducer and 4050. Add that in there too to give it a little bit of, loosen it up a little bit. So I haven't noticed, because I haven't really been watching the comments because I'm bad. Thanks, Ria. Has Bobby been on? I mean, he'll know. I'll send him a message or something, but that's fun. All right, so there it is, same deal. There's yellow now. So now with the yellow, it's kind of the same deal here, but this time I want to really concentrate on those little white dots that I just put down. And I want, again, super slow, let this build up slowly, because if I hammer this thing, it's going to make a mess. So just kind of rock the trigger back and forth and wait for it to happen. Because I know it's primed. There we go. and I'll just hit each one. This is more opaque than I gave it credit for. The yellow, that's good. But that works. All right, so now the final step, that looks great. That gives me that little, is that focused? Hopefully. So that gives me that little glow, you know, that something going on there. But we're gonna do the last step is I'm gonna take a tiny bit of red and outline a little bit. So I'll use the infinity for this because it's sitting right here and it's, no, you know what I'm gonna do? Do I have a, the infinity might be too small for this. So I'm going to use the, come on, there it is. I'm going to use the Grex. Just got to put a quick connect on it here real quick. Yeah, so the Grex XGI, I'm going to use this brush here. So exactly the same thing. I'm going to take some Pyro Red, put a drop of that in here, add a bunch of reducer to it. And so I get a real thin red. There we go. All right, so there we go. So I got red here now. It's in the cup, wherever that cup is. I can't see it. There we go, red. So now with this, I'm just going to kind of go on the outskirts, not on the main thing. If I spray this on those things I just did, the red will just overpower the yellow and the orange and turn it all red. But I want to go on the outside to just kind of give it that boundary layer, that boundary of where the glow ends. So I'm just going to kind of run around the outskirts of that. I don't have to worry too much about the rocks because again, if I do too much of this, it's super easy to just get some black and cover it up. So just on the outside edge of all these little hot spots. And there we go. That's what we got. I'm going to see if I can get you guys a better angle on this so you can kind of see it. I know what I'll do. I'm going to give you guys more light on this so you can really see it. So let me take this off of the holder and I'll move this over here. Yeah. Yeah. How am I going to do this? I got to hold it by hand. So we're going to move this up here like that, like that. What is that? What did I just see? Ryan, you're awesome, buddy. Thank you so much. Ryan, you're amazing. Thank you. Okay, so I'll do this, and then I'll move it this way. So now you guys got more light on it. So you see, like that now looks like there's like little bits of heated lava between those rocks. And again, it's all about being subtle. You know, like I said, if I did that everywhere, wherever there was a crack in the rocks, it looked like trash, you know, it just looked like goofy. But now, you know, it looks like those rocks have, you know, some lava going on between them. You know, it makes them look really hot. So the same basic idea is going to happen with, oh, I forgot to finish that one. Oh, well. The same basic idea is going to happen with the lava. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spray over this with yellow. And then, but I'll use a lot more brush work. This has a lot of texture to it, so I'm going to take advantage of that and use like a dry brush technique to kind of make those little bumps look like they're starting to, like, you know, solidify. So that way he actually has something to walk on. I don't want it to look like total, you know, total lava, but that's it. All right, so I may put up a post after to kind of come up with a good color scheme for this guy. I love what they did here in their little model here. He looks like he has like black with gold accents, which is kind of cool. But I also kind of I'm digging this, you know, like horse from hell type of thing. So I don't know, maybe red, you know, for the armor bits or something. So that's kind of where I'm leaning on that. But yeah, there you go. That's glowy lava. So that's what we were talking about doing with the spray gunner. But you know, I saw this and I'm like, that's exactly what I'm doing. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's, you know, hope it gave you some ideas for your stuff. And again, you know, my job is to take a two-dimensional panel, right, and make it look three-dimensional, make it look like it's really doing stuff. Well, that happens on a three-dimensional surface too. You know, if you can pull it off right, paint will make something look three-dimensional. It'll make it look like something that it's not, and it's just paint, So, yeah, it's fun. But there you go. And it looks cool from the side, too, with that extra glow. It kind of pops up. So, I hope you enjoyed it. It's fun. We had fun, I think. Let me switch cameras, and then I will do my thing once I move everything. I did not see Bobby on. So, Bobby, if you're here, that's awesome. Let me know if you want one of those three. If not, Bobby knows how it works. In fact, Bobby won pretty early on last year, and he held on to his win for quite a while. So, in fact, there are still a couple people who haven't chosen paintings from last year, which is fine. But I kind of leave the burden on them to let me know when they want one. So anyway, so that's cool. But yeah. So if you didn't get your 543 suggestion in, get it in now. You have a few more minutes here at the end, and then we'll pick a new winner next week. Again, next week I think I'm going to be working on the dollar bill painting again, unless I can get the Mike's brush thing going. What is that? Honey, I did the giveaway on time, honey. You would have been proud. Actually, I think I was a little bit early, but thank you, honey. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about for next week. If you guys have something specific that you'd like me to do, or I can keep working on this little guy too. We can do that. But let me know either in the comments, here, because I see all of them. I'll read all of them after, or you can always comment on the video as well. There aren't as many comments after the fact, so like I said, if you make a comment on the video after, well after, I'd be much more likely to see it than if you can't comment in the live after, but. Yeah, whatever. And then one last final note. I've got a lot of great messages from people. The best way to message me is through the website. Absolutely 100%. That is connected to everything I do. So when you message me on the website, it actually pops up on my phone. So it's the best way to get in touch with me. You can absolutely send me a message through Instagram, Facebook. You can't do it through YouTube. They don't have a system for that. But Facebook especially is really hard because I have essentially three different accounts: the business one, the personal one, and they have a messenger app too. So notes can get lost in there. So just send me a message right to the website and you'll be sure to get it. Everything else is normal. We have a time lapse tomorrow, so you can watch the Laugh Now, Cry Later painting come to life. And then Wednesday, I absolutely promise I will be there for the open studio. So I will not forget this time. And that's what I got. All right. So you guys are amazing. Thank you for all of it. I hope you guys had a good time. And let me know what you want me to do, and I will do it. All right. So have a wonderful night and a wonderful rest of your week. And I will catch you guys later.